So, welcome back. Now, today we will be learning a little bit about the Greek physician Herophilus. Now, Herophilus is born in modern day Turkey, but he actually finishes his schooling and practices in Alexandria, which is a city in Egypt right on the Mediterranean Sea. And timeline wise, he is working about 100 years after our friend Hippocrates, who in the Greek islands with all his medical students had recorded medical information on papyrus scrolls, and then they would pass this on to any ships and say, can you please drop it off at the major ports around the Mediterranean? And Alexandria had one of the best libraries at the time, and it was a major port city. So Herophilus benefits from all this knowledge, but plus he is in Egypt where human dissections are allowed, and he loves to teach. So he actually cuts open these human bodies publicly and explains anything to people who are passing by. Now, the world would have to wait about 2,000 years to learn some of the stuff that he discovered, but one of the things he describes is the pancreas. Now, the pancreas is a Greek word meaning flesh, and it's about the size of a human hand from the tip of the longest finger down to the bottom of the palm. It's about sideways and it's right in the middle of the body behind the stomach. Because it is where it is, when it has a problem, it will bother the things around it. And if anything around it has a problem, it bothers the pancreas. Now, the pancreas is actually a gland that can do both things. The first thing it can do is the endocrine portion, which makes the hormone insulin, which goes directly into the blood and controls the blood sugars. When there's a problem in the system, it's called diabetes, which we all know about. The second part of the pancreas, the larger part, 99% of it actually, makes these things called pancreatic juices that are poured into a tube, and that tube then meets a tube from the gallbladder. The gallbladder is a little sac that stores bile made by the liver, and when it squirts the bile into that tube, it meets the pancreatic juices and they both go down into the intestine. So as a review, remember, we open our mouth, food goes into the tube all the way in the back, which is called the esophagus. It goes down the esophagus through that lower esophageal sphincter into the stomach where there's a lot of acid. Now that food has to pass through the pyloric sphincter, which is at the bottom, and once it goes into the intestine. In the intestine is kind of like that snake-like thing in the body. It's about 15 feet long. The first part of that intestine is called the duodenum. And so the pancreatic juices dump into here and the bile dumps into here. The pancreatic juices have bicarbonate, which neutralizes that stomach acid very quickly, but it also has enzymes which break down protein. The bile will break down fats and vitamins. And then the rest of the stuff can pass through the rest of the intestines and various things will happen, so on and so forth. So we will end today at this point because it is a lot of new words and a lot of new structures. But as Jedi Master Yoda said, have patience and all will be revealed. Until next time.